Good evening and welcome. You're watching the NewsTrack. I'm Rahul Kamal. What impact will the release of Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal have on the political fortunes of the Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi, Haryana and Punjab? That's my top focus on the NewsTrack tonight.
Delhi Chief Minister walks out of jail. Kejriwal bailed but bound. Can't sign files, can't go to the Chief Minister's office. Supreme Court slams CBI intent behind arrest.
आज मैं आपको कहना चाहता हूँ, मैं जेल से बाहर आया हूँ, मेरे हौसले 100 गुना ज्यादा बढ़ गए हैं.
Supreme relief for Kejriwal. The big focus on NewsTrack.
Make no mistake, the Aam Aadmi Party has been floundering for the past several months as its top leaders were behind bars. Most of them are now out. How does this impact where the Aam Aadmi Party stands politically at this juncture? We'll look at that. Before that, let me take you through the headlines I'm tracking tonight. Deadlock continues between Bengal doctors and Mamata Banerjee. Doctors seek President Murmu and Prime Minister Modi's intervention. Mamata Banerjee says health services are being affected, claims 29 patients have lost their lives so far. Modi government renames Port Blair as Sri Vijayapuram, calls it a move to shed colonial baggage. Home Minister Shah says Vijayapura reflects the victory of India's freedom movement. Milnad restaurant owners GST critique triggers Rao. State BJP Chief Annamalai apologizes for sharing video of the businessman apologizing to the finance minister. Congress says the centre's tax terrorism has been exposed. Siddaramaiah government cracks the whip over Mandi clashes. Intelligence chief shunted out. Mandi top cop suspended. H.D. Kumaraswamy visits the riot site. After Shimla, protests erupt in Mandi over alleged illegal mosque. Cops and protesters face off. Parts of Mandi mosque are demolished. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal is finally out of Tihar jail. The Supreme Court granted him bail in the excise policy case today. AAP supporters welcomed Kejriwal with drums, dhamaka and chants of "Jail ke tale toot gaye, Kejriwal chhoot gaye." The Delhi CM is now on his way to his residence in civil lines. Listen to what Kejriwal had to say to his supporters just the moment he got out of jail.
देश के अंदर कुछ लोग, कुछ राष्ट्र विरोधी ताकतें देश को अंदर से कमजोर करने की कोशिश कर रही हैं, देश को बांटने की कोशिश कर रही हैं, भाई को भाई से लड़ाने की कोशिश कर रही हैं, जुडिशरी को कमजोर करने की कोशिश की जा रही है, न्याय व्यवस्था को कमजोर करने की कोशिश की जा रही है, जजों को डराया धमकाया जा रहा है. आज देश के अंदर इलेक्शन कमीशन को कमजोर करने की कोशिश की जा रही है, ईडी पे कब्जा किया जा रहा है, सीबीआई पे कब्जा किया जा रहा है. देश को अंदर से कमजोर करने की कुछ राष्ट्र विरोधी ताकतें कोशिश कर रही हैं. हमें इसका मुकाबला करना है दोस्तों. मेरा कसूर यह नहीं है कि मैंने कोई भ्रष्टाचार किया था. मेरा कसूर यह है कि मैंने उन राष्ट्र विरोधी ताकतों के खिलाफ आवाज बुलंद की थी. इसलिए लेकिन मैं हमेशा इन ताकतों के खिलाफ लड़ा हूं और आगे भी इन ताकतों के खिलाफ लड़ता रहूंगा.
अरे यहीं आएंगे भाई, यहीं आएंगे. स्पीच चल रही है, स्पीच चल रही है.
मैं आप लोगों के बीच में बाहर आता था। लाखों करोड़ों लोगों का शुक्रिया अदा करना चाहता हूँ। लाखों लोगों ने मन्नत मांगी, लाखों लोगों ने दुआएं की, आशीर्वाद भेजे, प्रार्थना की, मंदिर गए, मस्जिद गए, गुरुद्वारे गए, उन सब लोगों का मैं शुक्रिया अदा करना चाहता हूँ। जितनी बारिश हुई, जितनी बड़ी संख्या में आए, आपके तहे दिल से शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ। दोस्तों, मेरा जीवन देश के लिए समर्पित है। मेरे जिंदगी का एक एक पल, मेरे शरीर का एक एक कतरा, मेरे खून का एक एक कतरा देश के लिए समर्पित है। मैंने जिंदगी में बहुत संघर्ष किया है, बहुत बड़े संघर्ष किए, जिंदगी में बहुत मुसीबतें झेली है, लेकिन हर कदम पे भगवान ने मेरा साथ दिया। ऊपर वाले ने मेरा साथ दिया। क्यों? क्योंकि मैं सच्चा था, मैं सही था, इसलिए भगवान ने मेरा साथ दिया। इन लोगों ने मुझे जेल में डाल दिया। इन लोगों को लगा कि केजरीवाल को जेल में डाल देंगे तो केजरीवाल के हौसले टूट जाएंगे। आज मैं आपको कहना चाहता हूं, मैं जेल से बाहर आया हूं, मेरे हौसले 100 गुना ज्यादा बढ़ गए हैं। मेरी ताकत 100 गुना ज्यादा बढ़ गई है। इनकी जेल की मोटी मोटी दीवारें, इनकी जेल की सलाखें केजरीवाल के हौसले को कमजोर नहीं कर सकती। मैं भगवान से प्रार्थना करता हूं, जैसे आज तक ऊपर वाले ने मेरे को रास्ता दिखाया, ऊपर वाले ने मेरे को ताकत दी, ऐसे ही भगवान मुझे रास्ता दिखाता रहे, मैं देश की सेवा करता रहूं।
The Supreme Court had some harsh words for the CBI while granting bail to Arvind Kejriwal. Justice Ujjal Bhuyan observed that the perception is something that mattered quite a bit and the CBI must dispel the notion of being a caged parrot. The Supreme Court also cited targeted harassment by central agencies. Here's what happened in court today.
Big relief for Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. The Supreme Court on Friday granted him bail in the CBI case in the alleged excise policy scam. The two-judge bench of Justices Suryakant and Ujjal Bhuyan was unanimous in the decision to grant bail. The court pointed out the charge sheet has already been filed and the trial is unlikely to be completed soon. The two judges, however, wrote different verdicts. While Justice Suryakant held Kejriwal's arrest by the CBI to be legal, Justice Ujjal Bhuyan came down heavily on the central agency. Justice Bhuyan said that the CBI case against Kejriwal was filed on August 17, 2022, but his arrest took place on June 26, 2024. The judge said the CBI did not feel the need to arrest Kejriwal for 22 months. Justice Bhuyan ruled that Kejriwal's arrest appeared strategically timed to frustrate his bail in the Enforcement Directorate case. The judge further urged the CBI to dispel the image of being a caged parrot. Justice Bhuyan stated that the CBI should be like Caesar's wife, above suspicion.
Both the judges of the bench have agreed that yes, he is entitled to bail. As far as the illegal arrest point is concerned, which we had raised before the court, one of the judges, Justice Bhuvan, has passed a separate judgment to say that in fact the arrest itself was illegal. And in fact, since the arrest itself was illegal and there was no necessity to arrest him, he is entitled to bail in the arrest matter also. So it's a very big judgment, and it also comments on the way the CBI has acted in the matter.
The bail conditions are the same as listed by the Supreme Court in the ED case. Kejriwal will have to refrain from public comments on the liquor case. He cannot attend Chief Minister's office and is barred from signing official files, but he can sign files that require to be sent to the LG. He is required to fully cooperate with the trial court. The Aam Aadmi Party mounted a fierce attack on the CBI, accusing the agency of acting under political pressure. Party leaders demanded the resignation of Home Minister Amit Shah, calling the arrest an act of political vendetta.
सुप्रीम कोर्ट की बेंच ने यहाँ तक कह दिया कि क्यों मुख्यमंत्री के ऊपर ये कंडीशंस लगाई गई हैं कि वो सचिवालय नहीं जा सकते, फाइलें साइन नहीं कर सकते, मेरी समझ के बाहर है। मगर क्योंकि दूसरी बेंच ने ये कंडीशंस लगाई हैं, इसलिए इसके ऊपर हम ज़्यादा टिप्पणी नहीं करना चाहते हैं। कोर्ट ने साफ तौर पे कह दिया कि देश की प्रीमियर एजेंसी बदले की भावना से, कपट छल से काम कर रही है। मुझे लगता है गृह मंत्री को एक दिन भी अपनी सीट पे रहने का हक खत्म हो गया है।
केजरीवाल की बेल से जनता को कोई फायदा होने वाला नहीं है, लेकिन आम आदमी पार्टी मिठाइयां बांट रही है क्योंकि उनको जनता से कोई लेना देना नहीं है, अपने भ्रष्टाचार से लेना देना है। और मुजरिम केजरीवाल जो जेल से छूटे हैं बेल पर कंडीशंस के साथ, उनकी बेल पर खुशी मनानी है क्योंकि अल्टीमेटली तो भ्रष्टाचार हुआ है और उस भ्रष्टाचार में का फैसला आएगा तो जेल तो जाना ही है।
Kejriwal comes out of jail at a time assembly elections are taking place in Haryana. His campaign will be closely watched as AAP is contesting the elections on its own. With Kanu Sarda and Amit Bhardwaj in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
The Delhi CM has just reached his residence at Civil Lines. Amit Bhardwaj, who tracks the Aam Aadmi Party, is joining us from right outside 6 Flagstaff Road, the CM's residence. Amit, it was raining quite heavily. I was coming back from the airport on the way back from Srinagar. Huge rain, and despite that I see a lot of AAP supporters turned up in big numbers to welcome the Chief Minister. What's his immediate plan?
Absolutely right, Rahul. It's been drizzling, raining heavily in the civil line area as well as the Tihar jail. But this has not dampened the celebrations outside Tihar jail or at civil line. I'm standing here for hours now, and I've seen party workers who were completely drenched in the rainwater. Despite that, they continue to dance, and even right now, as our DJ Madan will pan the camera, you will see MLAs, AAP workers as well as Karyakartas dancing on the whole beat, the women supporters especially right there, dancing on the whole beat. So these celebrations are not going to stop anytime soon. Definitely tomorrow you will see even bigger celebration, unfolding in front of the CM's house and eventually at the party headquarters at one planning day. What we are given to understand, Rahul, is that Haryana for campaigning, and on the other side his legal team will approach the Supreme Court of India to get leave from
Lots of drum beats and noise and celebrations behind where Amit Bhardwaj is. I want to go across to some of our guests joining us from there, because what Amit did say is that the Chief Minister will be heading straight to Haryana. Now, is that good news for the BJP? Because the more he campaigns, as things stand, the better it is for the government and the worse it is for the opposition, because there is no alliance between the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party. Kejriwal, remember, is a Haryana ka ladka, and therefore as he campaigns, does he help split the anti-BJP, anti-government vote? Shehzad Poonawala joins us from the BJP. Preeti Menon is a spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party. Siddharth Mishra is a long-time analyst of Delhi politics. I want to go across to Preeti Menon first, because Preeti, first and foremost, congratulations. Arvind Kejriwal finally out of jail from gate number 3. He spent 153 days in jail. That's a long period of incarceration. He's out now. What impact do you think this will have on the immediate political fortunes of the Aam Aadmi Party?
I think, firstly, I would like to reiterate what Arvind Kejriwal ji said, that it is God's grace that he is out. Just this morning, I'm from Mumbai. I went to Lal Bagh Cha Raja. I bowed my head, and by the time I came out, I got the great news that he is out. So I think that Arvind ji's arrest and the subsequent bail which he got from the ED has changed the tide of the way the ED CBI could be used to incarcerate the political opposition by the BJP. When Arvind ji was released, and post that many other leaders have been released, Kavita ji, Hemant Soren ji was released before that. The judiciary has now stood up and said that enough is enough, that you cannot use the agencies and you cannot use cases endlessly to keep political leaders in jail as under trials. And I think that's a very, very important thing for Indian democracy. So while the party is rejoicing, we are absolutely thrilled that he is here, especially since we are in the throes of an election. But I think what is more important is that the country now needs to rejoice, because the judiciary, having stood up and having reiterated that, like how 10, 12 years ago the CBI was used as a cage parrot, the same thing has continued even today. Agencies are being
That's an important point you make, because the CBI did allude to cage parrot, and that the CBI must dispel the notion that the CBI is acting like a cage parrot, which is what the Supreme Court said today. You know, out of the 18 accused in the Enforcement Directorate case, so far, except one, Amandeep Dal, who's still in judicial custody, everybody else, Kejriwal, Sisodia, Sanjay Singh, Kavita Vijay Nair, Samir Mahindru, they've all been given bail. 3 have turned approver. In the CBI case, out of the 9 accused, 8 are out, 1 is in jail. Now, Shehzad Poonawalla, some of the observations made by the Supreme Court hark back to the time when the UPA was in power, and that's something that got the BJP in opposition very agitated, that the CBI is acting like a caged parrot 10 years on. The Supreme Court making scathing comments about how the CBI must not act like a caged parrot. This time, though, it's on the watch of your party and your government.
Rahul, you would also remember, since you're such a seasoned journalist, that Lalu Prasad Yadav went to jail for the first time in '97. Subsequently, he got bail many occasions. He was finally convicted in 2013. And in the course of that entire long trial and going in and out of jail, many courts made many kinds of commentary. One half of the Supreme Court bench has made that one commentary, but the second half and the complete bench has said that the arrest is illegal. Nowhere has the arrest been held illegal. Even if Mr. Bhuyan, Justice Bhuyan, has raised certain question marks, they have not held the arrest by CBI as illegal. Secondly, Justice Bhuyan has also said, and I want to draw your attention to this particular line, that none of this applies to the merits of the case, and this condition is being necessitated to dissuade a recent tendency of building a self-serving narrative on public platforms. In fact, I would only go on to say that this is the first time, Rahul, that somebody went in as CM, Chief Minister, and came out as CM, Ceremonial Minister. Rahul, look at the conditions imposed on this person. He can't go to his office, he can't go to the Sachivalay, he can't touch the files, he has to pay a bond of 10 lakhs. What is Madam Preeti Sharma Menon celebrating? You ask what is happening for the real CM, that is the common man. Can Mr. Chief Minister do anything for the common man after he has become
I want to pause
minister?
the politics just for a moment as I go across to senior Supreme Court advocate Dushyant Dave, who now joins us on the case, because the politicians will speak along predictable partisan lines. I want to spend some time with Dushyant Dave on what this means for the excise case, what this means for how investigative agencies are operating, and the split in the Supreme Court. Now, what do you, as one of our leading advocates, Mr. Dave, make of the fact that Justice Kant and Justice Bhuyan seem to have had very different perspectives on whether the arrest itself was legal, justified, unjustified, whether he should be signing files or not signing files, and whether this had a larger bearing on this case and in the manner in which the agency acted, or is it just a routine matter that he's been given bail? So, because the judges were so split, everyone quite confused about what to make of the order. What do you think of it?
Well, proof of the pudding is in eating, Rahul. Fact of the matter is that Kejriwal has been released on bail, and it was inevitable, frankly. I mean, and we are seeing this now across the country in large number of cases where people are being arrested and they end up spending a lot of time in jails. They are not being bailed out. So it's a very unfortunate situation, Rahul. And, it's important for us as a nation to realize that we cannot just punish people as under trials. If we want to punish them, we have to bring the trial to a logical conclusions. And then, of course, we must send them to jail if they deserve, if they are found guilty. I have a zero tolerance towards corruption. And if Mr. Kejriwal is guilty of corruption, then he must face the music. But the judicial system must work towards it. Investigating agencies must work towards it. They must therefore ensure that the trial takes place as speedily as possible. There's no point keeping people behind bars, and we don't know what is going to be the outcome of this trial after 2 or 3 or 4 years. So, what is really troublesome, Rahul, is the way system is failing across the country. And not only the judiciary is to be blamed substantially, but even the investigating agencies are greatly responsible for this mess which is happening across the country. And as a result, sufferers are citizens. I won't say they are innocent, but they are, till they are found guilty, they are innocent. They are presumed to be innocent. So I think this whole culture, this whole, air has to be cleared as quickly as possible. And for that, I think media has a great responsibility to put pressure on the judiciary to ask, why is it that in the first instance trial court denied him bail? Why is it that a high court judge denied him bail? Is any action going to be taken against these judges who fail in following the law? Because bail is rule, jail is an exception. And yet they fail again and again. Why is it Supreme Court never, makes comment about their conduct? So all these questions raise extremely disturbing, issues before the nation, Rahul.
Now, Justice Bhuyan questioned the arrest by the CBI. It says that only after the ED started making clear that they were going to give him bail, that the CBI swung into action. Before that, for 22 months, no attempt was made to arrest him, even though Kejriwal was questioned. But Justice Kant doesn't agree with this line of thinking. My question to you is, does this have a larger bearing on the excise case at all, given the fact that the trial could go on for several years? Or do you think this is not to be confused with the larger issue of what happens to the case? This is just the act of grant of bail.
No, there is no doubt that this is at the bail stage, and the observations and findings that learned judges have made at this stage are not binding on the courts below during the course of trial. So these are, but there is no doubt about the fact, while both judges are outstanding judges and they are extremely well respected and well regarded, I must compliment Justice Bhuyan for taking the law a little further, because undoubtedly it appears that CBI's arrest of Kejriwal on the eve of his release in an ED case was mala fide exercise. And we know that this is what is happening. What is really sad, Rahul, is that the CBI day in and day out and enforcement department go on, functioning, targeting opposition leaders. For last 10 years, not a single BJP leader has been arrested by them on the charge of corruption, as if corruption is only confined to the opposition parties, which is a very, very disturbing trend. And what is more serious is that CBI director selection, the panel consists of Chief Justice of India. So why is it that these kind of appointments are made in the first instance? Why is it that the country, these things make us a laughing stock in the international world. People are talking world over about how our judicial system, how our investigating agencies are targeting opposition leaders. I have no sympathy for corruption. But you can't, say that corruption is only confined to a particular political party or political parties, and it has nothing to do with, any other. So this kind of a situation which we have brought upon us, it doesn't speak well as a democracy. We must make our democracy a robust democracy, where everybody is respected, party in power and those in opposition. So I think Justice Bhuyan's judgment will go a long way in sending at least a message. He has repeated what Justice Chief Justice Lodha has said long back, that CBI is a cage parrot. And that's troublesome. It's a premier investigating agency. It must act in a way that it is respected and admired by all. But it's not happening.
Important points there from Dushyant Dave. I thank you for taking out time and joining us. Senior Advocate Dushyant Dave referring to the Supreme Court, talking about the CBI being a cage parrot. That it happened earlier on the watch of the UPA. It's happening again this time on the watch of the NDA. I want to go across to Siddharth Mishra, because you can see these beaming smiles. Sanjay Singh, Bhagwant Mann, Sandeep Pathak, Raghav Chadda, all of them hugging Kejriwal. There are lots of jappis going around. What impact do you think this has on the AAP's immediate political fortunes, which will be tested in Haryana in a few weeks from now?
Rahul, what effect does it have on the fortune of the citizens of Delhi? I travel every day from my office in Pitampura to my residence in Anand Vihar, and I face every day knee-deep potholes on the roads. I see broken down DTC buses. I see no sign of administration on the streets of Delhi. I see overflowing drains. I see pathetic. It cannot, we talk of Delhi being a global city of, I don't know what all, but Delhi today is city of filth. Dirty roads, broken down roads, citizens, passing through stinking drains. So does it bring any change in the fortune of citizens of Delhi? Mr. Kejriwal, I saw your report when he came out of the jail, and he spoke so passionately. But did he ever utter a word that I will bring back sense of administration to the city of Delhi? Mr. Kejriwal plays his role as the leader of Aam Aadmi Party with a lot of aplomb. But he has performed so miserably as the Chief Minister of Delhi, and his party has also performed so miserably in the MCD. You see, corruption is one thing. It's good that there is a case in the court, he is winning, somebody is losing. But whether he is in jail, whether he is out of jail,
that's a good point. Let Preeti Menon respond to it, because his primary task is governance of Delhi. The political fortunes of the Aam Aadmi Party are secondary. For the citizens of Delhi, what matters is whether the Chief Minister can govern. And as far as governance is concerned, Delhi has been floundering. So many of your top ministers, leaders were in jail. Governance has been completely neglected. I know amongst the first thing they said is Haryana jana inko jaldi se. Haryana is a priority. I can see that. Is governance of Delhi a priority at all?
I think that it is to be noted that Aam Aadmi Party is the only party that did not break up, that did not falter, that did not stop doing its work despite the BJP's attempts to arrest all its leaders and break the parties like it's done in various states. Not only political parties, they break political families by threatening people with arrest. So the Aam Aadmi Party has stood strong. Its government in Delhi and Punjab is working hard, and Arvind Ji is the Chief Minister of the Council of the Ministers. The Council of Ministers will work according to his instructions and his guidance. He is not prohibited from doing that. He can sign files which will go to the LG. All files actually which the Chief Minister signs go to the LG. So I think that this myth being created by the BJP and its sympathetic people like the gentleman who just came on board, these people are trying to create a myth in order to make a case for some kind of, saying, oh, Delhi is not being governed.
No, but that's
the people
not a myth.
of Delhi are with Arvind Kejriwal.
The politics of the Aam Aadmi Party aside, the fact that governance has been impacted because of this tussle between the LG and the Delhi government is very clear. Shehzad Poonawala, the AAP will turn around and say part of the reason why Delhi is in a mess is because your Lieutenant Governor doesn't let Kejriwal and his party do their job. So it will again be back to that same old blame game that we've seen. They will try and pass the blame onto the LG, who holds the large part of power, and say we are trying our best, but the LG doesn't let us do his job.
But that's an open thing.
Let Shehzad Poonawala speak.
Be a little generous with me because I could not have my opening.
Sure.
Rahul, because Mr. Dave, senior advocate, came in, so I was not able to even complete my opening statement. So just be a little generous and patient with me. And I promise I'll answer all your questions, starting with your question first. Rahul, if the LG is such an obstructionist, how come school ka model humne kar diya, health ka model humne kar diya, humne sab kuch kar diya world class, and then when it comes to blaming LG ne kuch karne nahi diya? Either you blame the LG, either you take the credit. Secondly, Madam Preeti Sharma Menon, she's a good friend of mine. She lives in Mumbai. Delhi High Court concerned about Health Department affairs, September 3rd, 2024. There's a similar observation finding by the Delhi High Court about the education system also. And I'm sure the previous speaker knows much more about it. Having said that, let me come to the other question that needs to be addressed. Dushyanth Daveji was just speaking to you and he said, can you show me one case against the BJP leaders by ED? Money laundering scam, IT and ED officials raid PVS Sharma, Surat. ED attaches 2.7 crores worth of assets of a BJP leader. All of these are reported cases. Maybe Dushyant Daveji, many stories don't catch people's eye for various reasons. It didn't catch his eye. I'm not imputing any motives. But maybe Dushyant Daveji would do well to know that the entire liquor scam was started by the Congress, which today is missing on your panel, even though Khargeji has met you. Here the Congress party is saying we started the case. Then Abhishek Dutt recently, after they lost all 7 seats, said that we lost because of Kejriwal's corruption. Then in July, Devendra Yadav said that the 3 C's of Aam Aadmi Party, cheating, corruption and commission, no other C, these 3 C's are the reason why we lost. Having said that, let me come to a couple of more points. If the ED is such a vindictive body, CBI is such a vindictive body, C for Chhattisgarh, Preeti ji, you know, Aam Aadmi Party demanded that Bhupesh Baghel, who was the former CM, should be arrested in liquor scam by the ED. Mr. Rahul Gandhi says ED should go and arrest Mr. Vijayan. ED किसी और पर कार्रवाई करे तो चमत्कार, हम पर कार्रवाई करे तो गुनेगार. And if this is vendetta politics, finally I want to say, please see the cases. Laluji went to jail and got convicted first time 2013. JMM got first time convicted 1994. DMK first time the ministers went into jail was 2012. First time SP faced a disproportionate assets case 2006-7. इनका C for चरित्र ही, C for corruption करना है राहुल जी. इनके नेता एक समय पर कहते थे put this man in jail, put that man in jail. इनका conversion हो गया. इनका political conversion हो गया राहुल जी, and therefore from झाड़ू to दारू, from स्वराज to शराब, and from भ्रष्टाचार मिटाओ to भ्रष्टाचार छिपाओ. I have only one question. What about CM, common man of Delhi?
Okay, what about the common man, asked Shehzad Poonawalla. Meanwhile, there's a political war of words that's erupted over the Supreme Court granting bail to Arvind Kejriwal. The Aam Aadmi Party claims vindication. The BJP says that the bail that he's got is absolutely no certificate of innocence.
AAP Supremo and Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal is finally out on bail. Laddus, dhol and crackers. This is how AAP leaders celebrated the Supreme Court's bail to Arvind Kejriwal in the liquor scam case filed by the CBI. Earlier in the day, AAP leaders Atishi and Manish Sisodia had their eyes on laptop, closely following SC's proceedings. AAP claimed vindication, saying the arrest was nothing but insurance arrest by the CBI.
ऑनरेबल सुप्रीम कोर्ट में ये कहा गया आज कि जिस तरह से सीबीआई ने सीएम साहब को अरेस्ट किया, उससे ये साफ हो जाता है कि सीबीआई जानबूझकर केजरीवाल जी को अंदर रखने की मंशा के तहत उनको गिरफ्तार कर रही थी.
माननीय सर्वोच्च न्यायालय का फैसला, जिसमें साफ तौर पे कहा गया कि जब ईडी से उनको जमानत मिल गई तो 22 महीने बाद वो सीबीआई सो के जागती है. इसका मतलब सीबीआई की अरेस्ट, ईडी की अरेस्ट, ये अपने खुद की जांच एजेंसी की अरेस्ट नहीं थी, नरेंद्र मोदी सरकार के द्वारा कराई गई अरेस्ट थी. कुछ पहलू.
The BJP reminded AAP that the Delhi Chief Minister has only got bail and not an acquittal.
ये कहना गलत नहीं होगा, जेल वाला सीएम अब बेल वाला सीएम हो गया है.
सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने आज चाहे बेल दी हुई, लेकिन क्योंकि उन्होंने ये पाया है कि अरविंद केजरीवाल जी लिप्त हैं इस शराब घोटाले में, इसीलिए उनको ना तो सीएम के ऑफिस जाने के योग्य समझा गया है, ना किसी फाइल पे साइन करने के योग्य समझा गया है.
Arvind Kejriwal was arrested by the ED on March 21st. On June 26, Arvind Kejriwal was arrested by the CBI while he was still in custody of the Enforcement Directorate in the excise case, though he had been granted bail in that case. His release has given AAP much-needed ammo before the crucial Haryana polls. With Amit Bharadwaj and Mausami Singh in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
The most important thing politically at this moment is what happens in Haryana, because remember earlier the Aam Aadmi Party and Congress were trying to seal an alliance. Now both parties have announced most of the tickets and therefore there is no scope for an alliance. Siddharth Mishra, the more Kejriwal campaigns in Haryana, the more Shehzad Poonawala's party will say it's to their advantage, because he will campaign against the BJP, ask for votes for the AAP, potentially splitting the anti-BJP and the opposition vote.
Before I answered your question, the lady who called me a BJP sympathizer, I would request her to join me on a guided tour of Delhi. She lives in Bombay, and she should come with me on a guided tour of Delhi and see for herself whatever I said is there is an iota of falsehood in that. Then she would realize what pity state Delhi is in. Having said that, Mr. Kejriwal has made it very clear. Supreme Court has also made it very clear that you have no work in Delhi. You are on bail, you are out of jail, but you have no work in Delhi. And since he has no business to execute in Delhi, he can spend his time in Haryana. As far as my understanding of and given their performances, independent performances in the past elections, I think there is not going to be a big sea change in the bipolar politics of Haryana between the Congress and the BJP. Yes, in certain areas which neighbor with Punjab, especially the Kurukshetra constituencies, where his party kind of contested also and led on the few seats. Other than that, I see really no. Yes, whatever vote he takes away, theoretically there will be Congress vote or whosoever vote. But the question is, in the last time when they contested independently, they scored less than nota. That was the level of their performance. So how much will they improve on that performance is for all of us to see. But personally for me, how much so ever he might go and campaign in Haryana and call himself, Haryana born and, belonging to Haryana and all that. But I really do not see, the politics of Haryana, the elections of Haryana being fought on the
Preeti Menon, there are different scenarios. None of them work to the AAP's favor. One, he does really badly even after he campaigns. Then they'll say, well, there's no Kejriwal magic, even though he's a Haryana ka ladka, and that's bad news. Secondly, he does really well on the extreme. Right? Let's assume he does really well, like in Gujarat, becomes a third force. That's advantage BJP, because the better he does, the more the opposition vote gets split. The Congress doesn't come to power. Shehzad Poonawala and his party rejoice. Third option is that he does neither well nor badly, somewhere in the middle and somewhere in between. And then again, it's taking away some, because remember, the Lok Sabha elections were 44% votes for the BJP, 47% for India Alliance, which is AAP, 3%, and Congress 44%. So it was a very tight election. Therefore, given that this alliance hasn't happened, whatever Kejriwal does in Haryana is likely to benefit the BJP more.
I think that is an opinion which I beg to differ from completely. How do you know that we won't split BJP votes? There are many BJP voters who are absolutely disgruntled with the BJP, who may not go to the Congress, will happily come and vote for the Aam Aadmi Party. So I don't think a vote is owned. A vote is earned. And if the Aam Aadmi Party contests an election and tries to, exercise its constitutional right to come into some kind of public representation, then we have the full right to do it. There is no place where you say that, okay, only two parties can contest. Multiple parties can contest. We've contested against each other in Punjab as well. And I think that will keep happening. I think you have to adjust to the idea that the India Alliance will come together when it comes to national politics, and at state level, multiple parties will contest.
Shehzad, you want to respond to the AAP's big hope that Kejriwal campaigns, it doesn't hurt the Congress, it splits the BJP vote. Now, we've seen this in Delhi, where there is high transferability between the vote of the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party, particularly in an assembly context. If that starts happening in Haryana as well, what is already a tough election could become a disaster if Preeti's calculation is true.
अगर मेरी चाची की मूछें होती तो वो चाचा कहलाती। राहुल जी थोड़ा सा देखिए इधर उधर दिल्ली हरियाणा के एक साइड दिल्ली 0 out of 7 for Aam Aadmi Party and India Alliance. Haryana ke दूसरे side Punjab, ruling party got 3 seats out of 13. Let me put it in a lighter note, because Rahul, you will appreciate some humor sometimes on your show. In Delhi, before the Lok Sabha elections, they were Hum Saath Saath Hai. After the Lok Sabha election, they became Hum Aapke Hai Kaun. In Punjab, they were always Akele Hum Akele Tum. In Haryana, they are Kabhi Haan Kabhi Na. And iske baad hone wala hai Alvida. They are going to be Alvida. Let me give you an example why. You asked me why I'm rejoicing also. Let me tell you why I'm rejoicing also. This is on a slightly different note. Preeti, when I was coming for this debate, I met a bunch of these Aam Aadmi Party supporters. They were protesting. They were protesting with this picture saying Supreme Court high, high, Supreme Court high, high. How come Chief Justice has allowed Ganesh Puja of Prime Minister for Prime Minister to come in Ganesh Puja? I said, sir, you have got bail. Just now Kejriwal got bail. So they immediately did a U-turn and they started saying Supreme Court Zindabad, Supreme Court Zindabad. This is the level of U-turns you've taken. You're not confident about your Delhi model that you could go and fight the election in Delhi without the Baisakhi of the Congress.
Can I respond, please?
अरे जिस पार्टी को जीरो कर दिया, जिसको साफ कर दिया, उसको माफ कर दिया, पंजाब में हाफ कर दिया, और यहां पर आकर आप लोग बात करते हो. The question today is only twofold. Firstly, if you are so confident about your Delhi model, why don't you take your Delhi model and why weren't you ready to fight the Haryana election from day one? You were begging with a bowl with the Congress party. अरे 5 दे दो, अरे 3 दे दो.
Does that not show, Preeti Menon,
So,
in conclusion, weakness on the part of the AAP? In Gujarat, you had a swagger. Here, you were quite desperate. It didn't work out as a different matter. But by playing your hands, you've already shown that Kejriwal doesn't think he can form a government by himself and was therefore dependent on the crutches of the Congress.
I think one thing I would like to point out is that Shehzad, you have an alternate career as a fairy tale writer. You could do really well in that. Think about it in case BJP ever gets out of power. But coming to our role in Haryana, yes, we did want to come together. Yes, we thought we'll be a stronger force together because we will get the BJP votes away from the BJP. Congress has its own vote banks, as you all keep talking about. And I think the secular vote and the rest of the voters would all come together. The poor people's vote, the Dalit votes would all come together. It would be a great combination. But if that does not happen, we still have a right to contest the election.
Okay.
And we're going to make a huge
So
dent among the
Kejriwal
BJP
is contesting,
voters.
he's
And
back.
that is why BJP
He
is
will
so
campaign in
disturbed.
Haryana.
The
That will make some
entire
difference.
upset that
The
you
question
see
though
from
is,
the
who will it benefit? AAP isn't strong enough to win too many seats on its own. Even the AAP leaders know that. If he splits and cuts into the BJP vote, it's a nightmare scenario for the BJP, because that then reduces the BJP and their seat conversion gets really bad. If it splits the opposition vote, the anti-BJP vote, then it's advantage BJP and could really just be the big hope that they had, that the opposition vote gets split. So you're on board the NewsTrack. In a plea for GST reform, Coimbatore hotelier D. Srinivasan took a dig at the varying GST rates on food items during a meeting with Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. A day after his comments went viral, Srinivasan met Finance Minister Sitharaman again, sparking speculation that he'd been pressurized into apologizing for his quip. The entire episode triggered a big showdown over the GST between the government and the opposition.
An event which has gone viral on social media. It started out with an appeal by the chairman of the Tamil Nadu Hotel Owners Federation expressing his frustration to the Union Finance Minister over what he termed was a highly complex GST system. His comments based on real-life experiences were repeatedly met with laughter. However, the issue he raised is one perplexing restaurants across the country. That of different GST rates on raw materials needed to prepare dishes in restaurants.
இது டெய்லி எங்களுக்கு நடக்குது பிரச்சனை. ஒரே பில்லுல ஒரு ஃபேமிலிக்கு டிஃபரெண்டா ஜிஎஸ்டி போட்டு கொடுக்கிறது கஷ்டமா இருக்கு. ஒரு பன்னுக்கு ஜிஎஸ்டி கிடையாது. பன்னுக்குள்ள ஒரு கிரீம் வச்சுட்டா அதுக்கு 18% ஆயிடும். கஸ்டமர் என்ன சொல்றாரு, நீ கிரீமே ஜாமையும் கொண்டா நானே வச்சுக்கிறேன்.
A day after his comments went viral, Srinivasan met with Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman again, clarifying on his views on GST. The opposition pounced on the videos alleging the veteran restaurant owner had been pressured to apologize for his quip. Rahul Gandhi also tweeted on the issue, accusing the union government of favoring billionaires and humiliating small business owners. The finance minister countered opposition claims and clarified on the issue.
அவர் பெரியவர், தொழிலில் ரொம்ப நாளாக இருக்கார், கேள்வி கேட்டார். ஆனால் அதுக்கு நான் அங்கே பதில் கொடுக்கல. உங்கள் மூலமாக நான் இப்போ பதில் சொல்கிறேன். குழுமம் பார்த்துக்கிட்டு இருக்கு அந்த விஷயத்தெல்லாம். ஜனரஞ்சகமாக பேசுறதுனால ஜிஎஸ்டிக்கு பரம விரோதமாக இருக்கக்கூடிய மக்களுக்கு அது ரொம்ப ஆதாயமாக கிடைக்கும். பார்த்தீங்களா, ஊருக மாமியை கேள்வி கேட்டார், அதுவும் என்ன சிரிக்கிறாங்க எல்லாரும், அந்த அம்மாவுக்கு விஷயம் தெரியுமா? நான் யாரோட காமெண்ட்டுக்கும் கவலைப்படுறது இல்லைங்க. ஜிஎஸ்டியை நல்லா எளிமையாகவும் சுலபமாக ஃபாலோ பண்ணுறதுக்கும் மக்கள் மீது கடுமையாக ரேட் இல்லாமல் இருக்கிறதுக்கும் எத்தனை முயற்சி பண்ணணுமோ அத்தனை முயற்சி நாங்கள் எல்லாரும் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம். கவுன்சிலில் இருக்கக்கூடிய ஒவ்வொரு அமைச்சரும் பண்ணிட்டு தான் இருக்காங்க.
A restaurant owner questioning the finance minister over different GST for food items turned viral. But him apologizing to Nirmala Sitharaman for his speech has now turned into a debate, raising questions on should a commoner feel sorry for questioning the authority. With Dibyan, Pramod Madhav for Business Today.
The political storm over alleged illegal mosques continues in Himachal Pradesh after Shimla clashes broke out between locals and cops in Mandi. On Thursday, members of the Muslim community had themselves demolished an unauthorized portion of the mosque located on Jail Road in Mandi. Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister Sukhwinder Singh Sukhu has appealed to the people to maintain peace and brotherhood in the state.
After Shimla, communal tensions grip Mandi in Himachal Pradesh. Hindu groups in Mandi staged a protest demanding action against alleged illegal construction at a mosque. The police had to resort to water cannons to disperse the protesters. Mosque authorities claim they have already demolished the illegal portion.
हमारा जो मैप है उसका 6 महीने बाद हमें पता चला कि इस पर ऑब्जेक्शन लग रहा है. उससे पहले हमें कोई इंटीमेशन नहीं थी. तो यहाँ रेड कलर का मार्क लगा हुआ है, वही पीडब्ल्यूडी का निशान है, उसके बाद उनकी जगह है. तो ये दीवार आ रही है, तो उन्होंने कहा कि आपको ये दीवार गिरा देनी चाहिए. तो हम लोगों ने कहा ठीक है, अगर आप चाहते हैं गिराना है तो गिरा दीजिए, हमें कोई एतराज़ नहीं है क्योंकि ये आपकी जगह है.
Both PWD and Municipal Corporation had earlier served notices to the mosque. Amid the escalating protests over illegal constructions at mosques in the state, Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister Sukhwinder Singh Sukhu said peace and harmony is his top priority.
ऑल पार्टी मीटिंग में बाकी पार्टीज ने कॉन्फिडेंस दिखाया है सरकार में, जो एक्ट आप कर रहे हैं?
नहीं, बिल्कुल कॉन्फिडेंस दिखाया, इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है. और कॉन्फिडेंस दिखाने का मतलब ये नहीं है कि हम प्रदेश की शांति को बिगाड़ने में योगदान देना है. हमें प्रदेश में शांति बनाए रखनी है.
Heavy security has been deployed across Mandi after similar protests had turned violent in the capital city, Shimla. Bureau Report, India Today.
This is where I wrap up the NewsTrack tonight. For your time and your trust, thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you at 8 p.m. Monday evening. Till then, from all of us here, goodbye, good night.